What's up, guys? It's me. I'm back, commentating some more CCA with my boy Kraken Mare. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mewtwo. How are you doing tonight?
I'm chilling.
I'm excited. You know, we got a busy day here on stream, and we're starting off with a good one here. We got PSU fish. I think I said enough fishes. And Griffink here. Division 5, Week 4 of CCA. Can't believe we're already in the 4th week of CCA.
Yeah, I mean 4 weeks is it's a lot of weeks. So like, yeah, I mean honestly, I think we are in the tail end of the CCA server. So I mean CCA league. So these teams are really trying to push out a really great record coming out of it, and going into game 1 right now, we do see some pretty interesting weapons. We do see a Wellstring from the blue side, and alongside an Undercover.
Yeah, that is classic Arctan. I also might call him Max on the fly here. They are known to play some weird weaponry, and including the Vunder, but you also maybe see a Big Swig along with some other weird weapon choices here and there, Mew.
Yeah, I want to see how this will work for them, and as we see we see Arctan on that Undercover Umbrella, having that Reef Slider ready, about to charge in at the enemy team at any time they want. We see 3 specials on the side of Fish, and you know, I think they're just playing the waiting game. We see the Booyah coming in from Griffink. We see one dude go down from Fish. That was their cooler user, but they were able to get the cooler off in time. But right now, Fish is kind of on the backseat.
They're in the backseat, but they're not in a bad spot, right? They've only had the one person. That was the first 3 people down. We saw the one earlier and those 2 there. Like, it has been not a lot of just slaughter until right now. Just the one member alive on the side of Griffink, and that is it. That is a delayed white Mewtwo, and just like that, PSU going to take the lead, and now they're in a really good position with that wipeout. They're going to probably get this checkpoint.
Yeah, I think they are. So, I feel like, you know, you see Arctan trying to push up, but they are, you know, being really pressured by that custom range blaster, which really kind of hard counters Undercover if you're not spacing properly. And as we see, Arctan does go down, but Fish was able to break through that first checkpoint. So right now, it's the ball is in Griffink's court. We see the Kraken sharking the jump. They do find it onto Arctan. Not really the safest jump considering Griffink was already pushing into mid, but the custom range blaster does get punished.
They didn't see that jump from the dualies, though. They kind of, I think they did, but they kind of hesitated, not knowing when it was going to land, and it cost them their life. And just like that, the dualies come in, they get the pick. They kind of stall the push here. They might be able to help hold this checkpoint with this crab, but a flank from the blaster gets 1, looking to get 2. This blaster gets a second one and has damage on another one. This blaster is making a very key play right now, and it's probably going to reward them with the first checkpoint themselves.
Yeah, we see Arctan trying to come in with that Reef Slider, trying to find the tower user, but they are unable to. But 2 are down, 3 make that 3 from the side of Griffin. We see the Booyah Bomb coming onto that tower. Not finding anyone, great spacing by PSU not to die to that. And as we see, they're already starting to push back in. He ends up already through its cooler a bit further away. Yeah, some interesting things going on. But as we see the Wellstring on the tower being forced to retreat right now, and it's looking pretty neutral right now.
That was definitely a spectator moment. They were on top of the bomb when it exploded. Threw me at least for a little bit of a loop. A little bit surprised for that. But hey, right now though, we're back to a neutral situation. A very close game through 3 minutes. Both teams have gotten past checkpoint 1, but neither have gotten past checkpoint 2. And the slider gets 3. Can they, or gets I think a double, and they're looking for 3 now. But either way, tons of members of Griffink go down. This tower is moving in the other direction, but I think maybe they were a little bit too fast. The dualies in particular getting ahead of the Brella, and that's usually not where you want to be. You want to be with the Brella. Ooh. And oh man, these sliders are doing massive damage, Mewtwo.
Yeah, the custom range blaster is currently being distracted by the dualies. They do go down, and they instead use the Kraken instead of just using their range to down tower. And as we see, Griffink loses the lead, but PSU does go down 3 members. The last one is to do this while all of their teammates respawn. And I'm not sure if that was the greatest play from the custom range blaster. I think they just kind of panicked in the moment. But as we see Griffink already with the cooler, already with the Booyah Bomb, one goes down from each side. We see the Zuka coming in, trying to find somebody. We see the Reef Slider once again not finding anybody right now. We see the Booyah Bomb coming out from Griffink, throwing it at the top right of PSU's base, trying to find somebody, but they can't find anybody. And right now, Griffink is currently in the driver's seat. 2 are down from the side of PSU, and the lead is very small.
Very small indeed. That Kraken might be enough if they can't knock it off. They do knock it off, though. They touch tower. This Kraken's going to fight for it. 1 point. Oh, tied, and that is a lead for Griffink with 30 seconds remaining. This bow, really the last one to try to stop any more bleeding Mewtwo.
Yeah, they're trying to stop the bleeding, but I don't know how much is going to help them. We see 1 go down from the side of PSU. Make that 2. They might make it 3. Arctan and the bow combined for 2 kills. And we see the Wellstring trying to go for the tower, throwing down the Hail Mary Wavebreaker. And this Forge Pro from Griffink is, shooting very, very smartly, because they do have that GG Booyah Bomb ready for when all of Griffink's team members get back into base. And mid is looking very yellow right now, and PSU is not really making much effort to get back in right now. You see Arctan with that Reef Slider. If they could find the Booyah Bomb before it goes off, they could probably win. But 3 go down on each side, and the Blaster gets on the tower, and Griffink takes game 1.
Which is better, Booyah Bomb or Reef Slider? And I think we just found out that Booyah Bomb is the slightly better option. In particular, the fact that it actually painted the tower. While the Reef Slider, I mean, that was a good Reef Slider. There's no denying that. I mean, getting 3 on a Reef Slide is exactly what you're kind of looking for. It's just the fact that the Booyah Bomb came out, cleared everyone behind Arctan there with the slider, and they just couldn't get back to the tower faster. Who could get to the top of the tower faster? This case, the Blaster wins out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Griffink was bound to win after we saw the Forge Pro charging up that Booyah Bomb. And, it's... it was just hard for PSU, because they needed to kill the Forge while they were retreating, but because they didn't, Griffink held mid-control, and they just allowed safe jumps to get back in, so... But it was still a close game. I think PSU definitely could have played defense a lot better. There were times when they kept going 2 down and constantly being outmanned, so I think that's something they just need to be aware of moving into these next few games.
I think Mewtwo, though, we're going to have a fantastic one on the hands if we're going to have every game be like that tower control game. Both teams having leads at multiple points in the game. It took 1 big push there with 30 seconds remaining on Griffink's side to take the lead permanently, and it just is so back and forth. We saw multiple doubles, we saw multiple triples by multiple different people on each side. So we're gonna have both a bloodbath and a stallfest at the same time, which is just almost weird to say in a lot of ways. And we have a map kind of similar as to how Hagglefish plays, where it's you're kind of focusing one area at a time, with Rainmaker Museum coming up next.
Yeah, Rainmaker Museum is a very interesting map mode. I think definitely Arctan, I could definitely see Arctan pulling out that undercover. Well, again, I think Reef Slider is really good for popping the shield quickly, and as long as you just have some teammates with you for like bomb support, you can't get that guaranteed pop. Mm-hmm. And I think PSU needs to, I think, be a bit more aggressive. We kind of saw, some aggression, but I think their weapon comp is just really hard to push in with, because I feel like the only real aggressor weapon they have is the dualies. The undercover can go in, but I feel like it would be I feel like they need to wait for a Reef Slider in order to punch holes into the opponent's defense. So I think there just needs to be 1 or 2 weapon changes from PSU, and I think they're going to be good.
We are going to see at least 1, as we see Key Lime come in for Luna the N-Zap. So we'll likely see a longer range weapon. Knowing Key Lime, they play like Jet Squelcher, Nautilus, similar-esque kind of weapons. They tend to play a little bit more on the passive side, but with a map like this, seeing that range happen, we do see the Jet Squelcher exist here, and we have a pen change on the other side here for Griffink.
Yeah. I'm very interested in seeing kind of the double backline we're seeing from PSU with the Wellspring and the Jet Squelcher. I do understand that PSU probably wants to use the VAC, and I think Wellspring is just a very safe weapon choice for the player using it right now. As we see the cooler being used on the side of Griffink, all the Griffink's members are huddling towards it like moths to a flame. And right now, I think Griffink gave up a lot of space in order to grab the cooler. We see Arctan already there finding up a nice little double. The last one is Titanium, who is forced to jump out. And so I'm not really sure. I definitely think they should have thrown that cooler into mid or somewhere closer to the front line for Griffink.
Yeah, I agree. That was they just gave up all that space in mid. You know, even if you had to throw it, I'd probably say ramp-esh area is probably where you wanted to throw it there, because, you know, their players weren't super far in mid when that happened. But it definitely surprised me too. Just watched everybody fall back all the way to the backside of Spinner. Threw me off a little bit, but so PSU is going to get the checkpoint, but they are held defensively well, Griffink, after that, giving up that checkpoint. So good on them, at least, if you're going to give up position, to not give anything more beyond a reasonable amount of points.
Yeah, and like I said again, PSU's team comp is just really hard to play aggressive because you just have the dualies and the undercover who are, at this point, your front lines. And now we see Luna on that shot with the Zuka ready, trying to find the dualies, and they do. And Griffink still isn't taking much space. I mean, 3 of them are on their plat. One of Arctan's already back in mid. I feel like they're just playing very scared right now.
Yeah, which is weird. You think they'd have a little bit more confidence after winning the last game, right? This is something you see after people's lost a few. They tend to kind of get a little bit slower. But I think they were maybe trying to wait for specials a little bit, you know, and didn't think about the fact they have a numbers advantage and trying to take advantage of it. But here they go. Crab behind. They're going to dive for this checkpoint, and they are going to get it. So score is effectively tied right now, Mewtwo. Of course, the team that scores the lead first has the lead, so to say. It is there is no tied game in Splatoon. There's always a tiebreaker of some sort. And in this case, right now, PSU has it. But if the other team here, Griffink, just even touches the Rainmaker, they're going to get lead, and we see that lead immediately given to Griffink.
2 are down from the side of Griffink thanks to the heroic efforts of Andrew. And as we see the Inkvac being used on the side of defense, and Key Lime does unfortunately go down to that Splat Bomb from Space Seals. And they do find 2. They might be able to make it 3, but their teammates help assist for the 3rd. And Arctan is just kind of alone on the right side. They're not really... They kind of are in a good position to reslide because they can't either reslide from the right or just straight forward. But as we see, the Rainmaker does go down. It's only down to 52. Arctan finds a great double on that reslider, and as we see, Space Seals jumps out, and now it is PSU's time to push. They do have that vac ready. They do have the Crab that they can use on top of their Spinner, and the only real special to stop this is the triple Ink Strikes, which does find the vac, does not find the Rainmaker.
Rainmaker gets the lead. 29's a decent push. It's kind of around that line where you can go either way, right? That's where you want to be, and if you can get past it, that's ideal. But you can win with a push like this, and you really want to be under 25 to start feeling safe for your push. So PSU cannot let up, and we see Space Seals getting a nice double. Can they make it a triple? Doesn't look like they're gonna hard chase down a Vunder and a Bow. A little bit surprising. I thought they might have an opportunity there with the amount of DPS they can put down very quickly, unless the Bow can hit a one-shot of some sort. A shot isn't always scared of that combo of weapons. You know, you may go down in a trade, but sometimes you can get 2 off that.
Yeah, Space Seals grabbing the Rainmaker, you'd be surprised. I thought maybe like the custom Range Blaster would be able to do it because I feel like the triple Ink Strikes can really disrupt that double backline comp that PSU has. But I guess in this scenario, you would want the... Oh, wow, sorry, wipe. And PSU's going to get the lead.
Oh, they hesitated.
They hesitated because... And we see Arctan already on the defense, Andrew already there as well, but both Andrew and Arctan go down. And Space Seals is slowly moving forward, and they just wanted the guaranteed wipeout, and they do get the lead at this last second. 10 seconds left. Griffink puts it down to 12. I do not know if this will be possible for PSU. Arcan using the Reef Slider, finding 2, but and the thing is, Griffink doesn't even need to, kill the Rainmaker themselves. They could just stall out this timer.
Yeah, they can stall the timer, as you pointed out, but they're 2 down, and they're back, I believe, 2. Another one from Arctan. They're diving the Rainmaker. They didn't get it. Oh my god, by points! Just a few points, the vac running out. Griffink able to get the pick in that little bit of time between the vacuum ending and them getting the lead. That was almost a quick flip of the lead again, Mewtwo. This is such a back and forth set. Amazing set thus far.
Yeah, once again, PSU's defense just kind of fell flat towards the end. I feel like they had a really great lead, but then after Andrew and Arctan did go down, it was just wraps, and that's the thing. They don't have any, really much lethal bombs because the dualies had a suction bomb. That's not really gonna halt like that. That might stop them, but it doesn't provide as much threatening potential as like a splat bomb, which detonates much faster. They have the line marker from the Jet Squelcher. Wellstring, I believe, has point sensor. They have a. I'm kind of blanking on what that Wellstring had. I think it was point sensor, right?
That it has Wave Breaker. What? I'm forgetting the Wellstring kits too.
Yeah, but
you think we totally play competitive Splatoon? I swear.
But yeah, I felt like PSU's comp did not have much lethal bombs, which resorted them to throwing their bodies at the Rainmaker towards the end, which really was their downfall. And I think that's one of the major problems. They don't have much aggression. They don't have much lethal bombs to throw off defenders when they were trying to, defend the Rainmaker. Moving into Clan Blitz Mako Mart, these games are close, but I feel like it always just comes down to PSU just coming up short on the defense specifically, and definitely on the side of Griffink, they need to take up more space. They have the much more aggressive comp, they have much more aggressive specials, and I think the lack of aggression until like the end, they're just playing it way too safe. I know they're always trying to find like one straight pick or maybe 2, but you need to make that engagement with them, because otherwise Arcan's just gonna get their Reef Slider and the pencil's gonna their dualies is just gonna keep running at you, and until you match that aggression, which you definitely can, they're just gonna keep doing it. And the only reason is they get bailed out is due to the lack of defensive play from PSU.
I agree. I think both times there, PSU, they got antsy and fed in one after another on the push, both with the tower control game and with the Rainmaker game. So that's what they just need to clean up a little bit. It's okay to lose points. I like that, obviously, Max went in early when they had to, but in this case, okay, we have a brush coming out here, Moo, but yeah, just defensively, obviously they tried to meet him at the lead point, but then after that, once they got him to slow down, they just needed to slow down themselves and keep them away from the lead. But in this case, they lost it. And here, though, Game 3 is what matters right now. And we have a brush out, Mewtwo, and you know my thoughts on brush.
Yeah, we also have a Dapple Dooley's Nouveau, so we still see another slider weapon on the side of PSU. The brush already finding 1, that's a great pick onto the blaster. Make it 2, that's a great pick onto the hero shot. That means there's no Zuko. We see Space Seals trying to hold down their stack. Fortunately, they do get marked by that Wavebreaker. Julius does go down to an external force that I did not see. Maybe it was God. We see Arctan with that Reef Slider coming in, not really doing much, and they did retreat, but that's Space Seals. Great double, great awareness. Just keep on firing at that spot. And now they are ready to score, but this dually might have something to say about it. They do get held off. What great play from this, Andrew on those dualies. Kind of the aggressive force behind PSU. As you see the Crab trying to find one on that right stack, we see the triple ink strikes being forced back, but Andrew does find that kill onto the hero shot.
Yeah, with the Crab, big Crab pick. But now they're down to, and there's one in the goal. They see this, but can they get this Blaster? This Blaster's, nah, I have Kraken. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna stay right here. Bro is staying in their goal.
Yeah,
and they get
guess
one.
I see. Yeah, I guess it worked out, but they didn't have a ball, and I guess the Blaster was there as a distraction, which worked, and they just found the dualies off of it, but there was no real swing in the momentum. They're just playing. Both teams are just very neutral right now, and you know, PSU has the more favorable clam economy. We see the Brush with 7, dualies with 3, ready to pass at any time that they want, but Wellstring does go down. We see the only special ready on PSU is that Reef Slider on the start of the dually, on the Dapple dualies, but they go down, and right now Griffink managed to find the clamps from PSU's dead corpse, and now they are finally getting points on the board.
Yeah, we see some points on the board. We got Space Shields in the background. They threw in a couple. That's all they have, though. Trying to take that high ground. If they can get something with that high ground, they can get a lot of damage. A couple more coming in from the members. I think it was from Space Shields as well. Got another 3. But I think that will be the end of the push there, Mewtwo. But hey, you know what? 44 points. Not a bad push by any means in such a stalemating game thus far.
Yeah, and in PSU, as much as they increased their comp, they increased the aggression with the comp. It feels like there's not much team play going on. We see Arctan already in the back with that burst, trying to be annoying. They tried to, create an opening for their team, but no one's there to capitalize on that. We see Andrew with that Crab Tank. I really would have liked Arctan to flank while Andrew was using that Crab Tank, because it was it kind of creates a pincer situation. Do you deal with the Crab, or do you deal with the Brush that's flanking you? We see Andrew being pressured by that Brush and that hero shot, being forced to retreat all the way back to their basket. And this just gives Griffink the entirety of mid to themselves, which also means the clan economy to themselves. One goes down to that restarter, and whoa, Griffink missed the ball.
They missed the ball, and I don't think Keyline meant to grab their ball at the same time. So it was like a double fumble in a weird way. But we see the ball. With that ball, you're just a giant target, and especially a weapon like Dapple Dualies that can't, do any real forward pressure. They just ended up getting bait for a Trizuka, which is, very understandable. Good Trizuka there by the Luna on Griffink. Of course, we have 2 Lunas here today, 1 on each side. And there goes 6 clams from Max. But Max wasn't in the right spot to score. Space Seals punishes. And that is it for the PSU push. A 23-point push.
Yeah, I understand the Reef Slider play, but I guess it was just miscommunicated because the Brush did not jump to the Reef Slider in order to get their ball in. Space Heels does find a lucky bomb onto Andrew right there. We see the Kraken coming in, just providing a free jump to one of the members of Griffink. Arctan tried to flank. Space Heels called them out and took them down. We see Griffink with an extra power climb. If they get that in, that'd just be really good for them, and they are going to jump in with another power climb, trying to lower their lead down to 12, and they missed. I think they were just a bit too far away. PSU has a fighting chance.
They jumped on the little lip there to the left of the bow, that's right, and that's out of range. And so when they jumped, they thought they might have been able to make it in range, but they were still out of range. They happened to jump to, oh yeah, good point, 3 down in the background. We're going to see potentially some scores on the side of PSU. There's 2 balls in. Can they get the last ball? That'll be for the lead. And it's the lead for PSU, Mewtwo. This will be 2-1 in favor of Griffink still, but PSU is on the board.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how they went to how the members of Griffink went to down there. Maybe it was some lucky bombs, maybe it was Andrew, maybe it was a combination of both. But I think this time it was the roles were kind of reversed at the end. Griffink's defense kind of was lackluster, and Arctan on that Brush was able to quickly get to the basket and open it and allow the rest of the team members to get in. So definitely more aggression on the side of PSU, but not as much as I would have liked. Meanwhile, I think Griffink definitely stepped their foot on the gas a little bit more. They were, I think they were just playing a lot more aggressive, but towards the end, I mean, there's not, there wasn't much you could do considering, it was, I believe it was like a 3 down or a wipe. PSU just got all of the clams in mid, and it was just kind of hard to kind of defend that. But moving on to Splat Zone's Brine Water, I think this is a map that favors Griffink better because of how much more aggressive they play and how much more range they have. I mean, obviously PSU does have that ball string, and as we saw, a Jet Squelcher in the back. If they are wanting to pull that out, maybe not the vanilla one, maybe custom, but they could definitely bully PSU out of their base. And if maybe Arctan or one of the dually members, if they decide to keep on those weapons, want to drop left, it's a very telegraphed drop, and one of the Griffink members can just easily call them out and take them down before anything of substance can happen.
I think the big thing here is I think PSU is going to go back to their more defensive style, and they will have the range advantage on Griffink because I would assume they're gonna bring Jet Squelcher back. They might bring Nautilus. So Key Lime has played Nautilus in the past, though we've mostly seen that with a Rainmaker, to be clear. But you can have Andrew. Andrew has Crab, Jet Squelcher, and Bow. That's a lot of long range pressure. That if they bring that range blaster back, you can get that range blaster. I think they're gonna change though, with it being zones. But that's kind of their biggest threat. The biggest thing is Griffink is gonna have to get to that plat level, because I think they're gonna get outpainted in a neutral situation. So they have to get up to the plat and start putting pressure to where those backlines can't focus zone. Because if it's just focusing zone back and forth, I do think PSU has a slight edge on that Mewtwo, where occasionally there's gonna be those Griffink neutrals and things, but Griffink has to get to that next level. Shots, zaps, they just don't have that range, and we see the range blaster coming up. I think that'll be the biggest poking weapon on these backlines. And we see a dually Squelcher coming out, Mewtwo.
Well, I guess we were kind of right about the Squelchers being used, but it wasn't just the one we were expecting. I like to point out that is a regular range blaster, so not the custom one with Kraken that we've seen in the last 3 games. And as we see getting into this PSU, having a little bit more pain on the zone. One goes down from the side of Griffink, which is a really big pick, but unfortunately one goes down on the side of PSU. We see the bomb coming out. We see another one go down on the side of Griffink. So right now Arctan does have that special way to push, to break holes into Griffink's defense. If they could, time it very properly, we might see a rip now, and we do. Unfortunately, everyone and Griffink got out of the way, but it just put more points on the board for PSU.
Yeah, I think they had a better opportunity. They popped it actually a little earlier than they did. I think they would have got 1 or 2 out of it, and teamed up with another player. I think Andrew was there. They might have actually been able to get 2 out of it instead of going down. But you know what? They got 50 points on the board right now. Then an eye for an eye. But we see Titanium here on the flank, and they just don't see any openings right now, Mewtwo.
Yeah, I just feel like every time I look at the screen, one member of Griffink does go down, and as we see right there, but unfortunately it was a trade between the Blaster and the Dualies. Triple Ink Strikes alongside the Pen is able to cap the zone, but we see Arctan already there to capitalize on the members of Griffink retreating. PSU is already back in the driver's seat. Make that a delayed wipe. Pencil's coming out of spawn. Nowhere close to Cooler because I believe they already used it, but right now Arctan's already halfway towards their Reef-Sider right now. Pen is trying to do their best to get their special. 1 goes down already. Andrew trying to be a bit aggressive, but 3 are down from the side of Griffink. It appears that PSU's aggression, like we kind of mentioned before, is just very kind of lacking after Andrew goes down. But right now it's Griffink's time to shine. Titanium with that range blaster, making up for what happened in the early opening minutes of the match, being able to find 2 and starting to kind of lock out PSU.
I think that pick by the Bow was looking to be really critical, especially getting 1, but then Titanium comes back and hits 2, of course, the Bow and another player, and it gives them a chance to kind of pressure this plat. And you can see, this is what I was talking about. If you have somebody flanking, they can kind of keep an eye on these backlines, and if you can get them, that's even better, and that is going to be potentially delayed wipe. Just the 1 person, just Max behind. Can Arctan get out? Everybody's firing from Griffink. This
Oh
is a
my
chance for PSU to
goodness.
dive, and finally they go down. Numbers disadvantage for PSU. They have to cap right here. They're going to lose the lead. But 2 members of Griffink go down, and that will be the cap move.
3. Yeah, the Zuka trying to find the crab. Unfortunately, it was too late. But the last Hail Mary finding one Luna on that Trizuka. Doing good work right there. We see one member of Griffink already, PSU, trying to go in. The Duelist Cultures does unfortunately go down, but they do place a beacon. I don't know if Griffink is going to be able to see that. We see Space Seals with those triple ink strikes. And Space Seals does destroy the beacon. One go down on the side of Griffink, but it was the blaster make that 2. Space Seals and the Pen are just stuck in mid. Pen jumps out, and the last one is just Space Seals. They are halfway to their strikes, and right now I think I would just play it safe. I know you have the cooler buff, so if you do go down, that's no penalty to your special gauge. And as we see, Space Seal is just ripping the triple ink strikes already.
That felt like a controller disconnect right there. You just see Luna just started looking straight down and wasn't moving. So I think that was a controller disconnect. Maybe not. Looks like they're back in. That was a little weird, but hey, you know what? Funny things happen. We love funny things. And Griffink back in control, and that's a nice Zuka shot. Pepe would be happy with that one, Moo.
Yeah, that was just a really good one. You know, nothing like point-and-click adventures, I like to call Trizuka. We see the crab all right from Andrew finding Titanium, point blank, no assistance needed. Finding 2, finding the Pen. If they could find 3, this would be huge. Andrew is just not afraid to step into the limelight right here. We see they do find 1. They do find Space Seals, which is a huge pick because they just lost their triple ink strikes, Kraken.
Yeah, big triple ink strike, but they'll have it back fast. They'll have enough time as long as they can get a quick neutral, and they are able to get the neutral. This slider is going to be key. They get 1. Can they get 2? They do get Space Seals. It's a Pen versus 2 people. Who can outpaint?
No. The Pen just can't outpaint 2 people. As we see, the ink mines are coming in handy onto the zone. We see Arctan playing their best, and PSU is going to take game 2, tying it up. Wow. What a game, Kraken. What a game.
I'm telling you, man, this is a good one. I can feel it. I can feel it during game 1, right? When you've been around enough, you kind of say, hey, you know what, this set is feeling pretty good. And you're not usually wrong on that, right? You know, even if the games end up being that one team wins all of them out, you're like, yeah, you know what, they're back and forth. And again, we've every single game has been back and forth. There's not been a single game that has gone shorter. It's no knockouts. We've had not a single knockout. Every single game has gone to overtime, or that game was the shortest game, and that was a 5-minute game, Mewtwo. That is insanity. Just thus far, especially zones. 80% of matches in the Ludi season thus far, which is not CCA. It's another league that's going on. 80% of them that I've seen in the tracking have been knockouts, and I think CCA is a similar number. I don't have the number for CCA off the top of my head, but I believe it's in the upper 70s as well. So roughly, let's just say roughly 80% of Zones games are knockouts, and that wasn't a knockout, Mewtwo. If they're making Zones games go 5 minutes, oh my god, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and the thing was, both teams were playing some stellar defense. I think it was just at the end when, 3 went down, it was just the Pen. Oh, the Pen went down, and the Pen was the only one left trying to outpaint 2 people. And I believe the Pen ran out of ink because there wasn't much Pen fire over the zone for a few seconds. So, Arctan and the other member, I couldn't see who it was, took advantage of the fact that the Pen was recharging. So they needed to, they took the zone. And after that, it was just Griffink just trying to throw all of their bodies at the same time, trying to get back into mid, trying to paint over the zone, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, man.
It does look like the host might be changing out, might be subbing. I haven't got official word what's going on because I'm of course in contact with the folks at PSU, and they weren't the ones hosting it. So, but it sounds like that it's going to be a rotation of the host potentially. So it's just one of those times that both teams are rotating a lot of people in and out, and this is one of the times that we're just going to have to a little bit of a delay while folks change out. And hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to change up those comps. A player isn't really liking a map, or you've planned, hey, this group of 4 just plays really good on this map. Even if let's say you don't have an issue with the map, you just happen to, the other person really likes it and just plays really, really well on it. We might be in a situation similar to that, but we'll find out soon enough here. I'm not sure who the host was, Mewtwo, but we'll know soon enough, right? If what our actual call is happening here. But the next map coming up, Mewtwo, is TC Shipshape. Do you have anything you want to talk about with TC Shipshape while we get this room back together?
It's a funny map mode. It's a very steamrolly, in my opinion, map mode. I think, judging by how both these teams played and how the defense was just getting better and better each time, I think that just these teams are. I think this is a map that looks like it can be a steamrolling map, but I think it's going to go the full 5 minutes. If I had to give the advantage to one team based off of what we saw, right now I just kind of like Griffink's comp better because they could pull out the custom range blaster again. They could pull out the 10 attack. The first game they pulled out the Force Splattershot Pro, and they did win Hagglefish Market. Just in terms of what they could do if their backs are against the wall, I have more trust in Griffink's comp to get the job done. But I think PSU's defense has been starting to get better, as we saw. But it's just one of those things, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You have Strikes on defense, you have Zuka on defense, you have Kraken, or if you're assuming that we're gonna go back to CRB, because I feel like that they were more comfortable CRB kind of early on. I think that's a better option. They have a lot of defensive options there that are really strong in Shipshape. Shipshape is a map though that can quickly also start to snowball, as you kind of highlighted. Once you get past the first checkpoint, you almost can't defend until close to the second checkpoint. There's only 2 checkpoints on this map. And so PSU, the biggest thing for them is going to have to be patient on defense. Because we saw on the first 2 games that they got antsy on defense. The last tower control game was the first game, right? It was Hagglefish, and they got antsy. And so they got picked one after another, and then it snowballed into the point that Griffink got the lead, and they couldn't come back from it in the last 30 seconds. So I think that's the key here for PSU, is understand that this map, you have to give up a lot of points. And Griffink has been better about that, and I think that will end up actually being the key to the game here. But we'll find out soon enough, Mewtwo. And we do see an early cooler probably going to come out here from this end zap for Griffink.
Yeah, we see the early cooler. Hopefully they could throw it in a better position than what we saw in the museum game, where they had to give up a whole ton of mid to get the cooler in. And we do throw it into their core, which a lot of the Griffink members are stationed in, which is very good, very smart. The ends up trying to maybe look at the right, but right now PSU is already on tower. Arctan does go down. We see the Wellstring trying to fire, but right now no specials online for either team. Right now Wellstring does go down. I think right now it's PSU's time to push. They lost a lot of their range. We see the custom range blaster already going in. They found 1. They have the Kraken ready. Make that 2. And right now, PSU is already on the back foot.
I don't want to say that at this point they've already lost all the points to checkpoint 2, but I think realistically they're not stopping this checkpoint. And as I talked about before game, you can't really defend until it gets to this point. You can kind of see that they're smartly just kind of chilling back right now. They understand the situation, and that's something that PSU people haven't done in the first 2 games that they're now doing here, I think, in 3, 4, and now, especially game 5. Playing a little bit smarter on that. But they go 2 down, Mewtwo. Maybe they aren't going to stop this tower.
Yeah, it's just looking really ugly right now. We see the crab coming up from Andrew, trying to find something, but they can't find nothing. We see the Reef Slider from Arctan trying to find 1. We see the Wellstring. I thought it was over, but the Wellstring just got on tower and just started barrel stuffing the person on tower. Last one, Space Seals on that Forge Splattershot Pro, trying to find Luna right now. Everyone's jumping into Space Seals. Space Seals is just a magnet for their teammates right now. They find 1 with the Booyah Bomb. This push, even though it's not anywhere close to the finish line right now, it's not over.
Yeah, as we said, this map you lose a lot of points quickly. It basically comes down to, can you defend checkpoint 1 or checkpoint 2? Because those are really the only 2 defendable locations on this map. and PSU has scored 4 points in the first, roughly, it's going to be roughly 2.5 minutes here by the time they realistically can get a push going. And that was just a fantastic push by Griffink. Because you know what, PSU was more disciplined than they have in other games, and they managed to still continue to keep that pressure. And a great flank by Seals, I want to highlight, on that pro, coming through the grates, getting multiple people, continue to be a thorn on the side until literally their entire team was dead, and then still got their team in a second time to make sure that they didn't immediately start getting pushed back on. So amazing job by Space Shields right now. If I'm PSU, they're my main target, because Space Shields has continued to make play after play after play in this set.
Yeah, you could really tell about how disciplined Space Shields is, and you've definitely heard of them before. I used to know them as a X-Washer, I believe. And as you see, Luna with that Trizuka trying to find anyone right now, but unfortunately, 3 strikes and they're out. Right now, we see the Wellstring on the tower with that Wavebreaker, providing us a little shield for them. But 2 are down from the side of PSU. Right now, Yeeted is being pincered on tower between the 2 shooters. So they do unfortunately go down. We see the Forge once again with that Booyah Bomb ready. Yeah, I just feel like they've just been chucking these things every 5 seconds, it feels like.
Oh, and, yeah, all the time.
With that, Arcan with that Reslider. I feel like the Resliders just haven't been great this game.
Yeah, I don't think they've been getting home the way that Max has wanted them to get home. But then 2 member goes down on the side of PSU, and look at this rush. Very good teamwork. Deeta goes down. Space Seals unable to take down Arctan. Arctan stays alive up there with their minds. Look at this one, might be a good one. Maybe no, not gonna get home again.
Yeah, no, I felt like they would just find one, but unfortunately they found none. And right now, Arctan's just halfway to another one right now. We see the ends up on the side of PSU with the cooler, but unfortunately Andrew already goes down before the cooler even dropped. We see the members of Griffink kind of gathering around the top left. I think if I was Arctan, I would have been up there a while ago, ready for that restart to pop. But unfortunately, they do go down to once again Space Seals. I feel like we've just been talking about them the entire game. Andrew with the crab trying to find somebody. Space Seals safely jumping out. They are halfway to the Booyah Bomb right now, and they do have a little bit of time, but they do not have all the time right now. We see the Kraken coming in as the first line of defense. We see one go down on the side of Griffink, made that 2, but we see the Kraken finding 2 on the side of PSU, so they might not even need the Booyah, but they do have it just in case. The Blaster does a great job trying to hold it down. We see Luna going down with that to the Booyah, make that 2, and Space Seals just has a free. Yeah, the PSU just gave Space Seals a free red carpet towards the tower.
Man, that was a good one, though. At the end, PSU kind of knew they had to just dive forward. They started to get something together, but it's just too late. You have a Kraken, which helps stall, and then a Booyah Bomb, just the GG Booyah Bomb to end it there, getting 2 members on the side of PSU. And just like that, Griffink back on top after the score got tied up by the members of Fish. The more fishes, the merrier, am I right?
I guess. I just feel like the map just didn't favor PSU in any sort of capacity. I mean, as you said, during the game they were well disciplined to not try and rush forward, but that just gave Griffink top left. It gave them court. They couldn't get up to top right because Andrew was using that crab, but after they were able to deal with them, we saw Arctan trying to come in from the top rope with that Reslider, which was unfortunately not able to do much, and that all left it up to that Wellstring to just go in by themselves to rush the tower. And, I think the biggest thorn in their side that match was Space Seals. And right now it's a game point for Griffink, but PSU shouldn't be discouraged right now. They've kept it very, very, very close. And right now, they just need to... I think right now, this map is much more favorable. Rainmaker Undertow, I think Arctan can definitely do a lot more damage than we saw on the TC Shipshape game, because really, Kraken, there wasn't much that we saw from Arctan's Reslider.
Yeah, I mean, I think Arctan has the most experience of anybody on this PSU team, I believe, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, because a lot of these players came in after I left PSU, to be fair. Andrew came in, I think, as the second most, and the other two I think are new. Off the top of my head, I could be wrong. Maybe, they might have a little bit of experience, but to the best of my knowledge, Max has the most experience by far of everybody here. Because not only do they play CCA, they also play outside of CCA, so they have both experience in the collegiate realm and then going out and finding teams and playing other events. And so Max in a lot of ways is kind of that gel. Also on being on the Vunder, that is just a gel weapon. And so like with Max just not finding those picks that we have been accustomed to in the first 4 games in that 5th game, I felt like everyone just kind of started then forcing things a little bit, and they just couldn't push up the way they wanted to.
Yeah, no, for sure. They definitely could not do much that they wanted. I completely agree. And hopefully, this time they're like, okay, maybe they realize that, hey, this was just not the best map for us. This is definitely a lot better. Like a hell of a lot better. Sorry to use the HG double hockey sticks word on this stream, but right now, I think definitely, like we said, it's just right now it's just a better map for PSU specifically. But I'm not counting Griffink out at all. They have the double shot combination, the T-Deck and the hero shot. They have the pan. They can whip out the CRB again, which would be very horrible for PSU. But going into it, I'm expecting honestly another great dogfight between these two behemoths right now.
Yeah, I think though if you're Griffink, you need this map. And looking at the next map after that, it is Umami Ruins Clan Blitz. And we saw what PSU can do on Clan Blitz. They can score quickly, but it's also Umami, which plays really well into some of the weapons that PSU has. So if you're Griffink, this is where you want to end the set right now and not drag on to Game 7. Because also on top of that, mentally, you start to think about like, oh my god, we had a chance to win it. We were up 2 before. Like, you start getting into the mental game too, not just into the literal, hey, what the situation is. So I think right now, if you are Griffink, end it here. It's always best to end it as soon as possible, but you do not want to go into Game 7 knowing what PSU can pull out and how the players play on this map.
One is down already from the side of PSU. I just feel like Andrew's playing a lot more aggressive than the rest of the PSU members. One goes down on the side of Griffink. That is Space Seals on the Forge. We see 2 go down on the side of Griffink. That and right now I'm the 3. Make it 3. Oh my goodness. As we see, PSU is already starting to push. They're moving towards the left side because left side looks pretty vulnerable right now, if I can say so myself. And right now Andrew's already down on the side of PSU. I think Andrew needs to step off the gas a little bit because I feel like they always keep going down when in reality they just need to play a bit more with the team. And the PSU is not even going to break the check. What
a dive! Amazing dive by Keylime to get that. I didn't think they had it either, Mewtwo, to be honest with you. And Keylime went, wait, you know what? They might think that I'm not going to dive this, kind of like we did. And they went right for it, and they got it. You know what? It's worth your life there if you're able to get that, especially with how that Griffink isn't the fastest team at getting back in, and your teammates having Cooler to get back in fast themselves. I mean, they didn't even lose mid. Andrew getting a trade out of it, but PSU's back on the throttle after breaking the checkpoint. Can they add more to it? But this Booyah Bomb might be the difference.
Yeah, Booyah Bomb being thrown right at the Rainmaker, not being able to find the Rainmaker, but put them in the bad and put them in the corner. As we see 3 members of Griffink playing forward. I'm not sure what the last one is, and we see Arctan running down 2, make it 3. The last one's fighting Arctan right now. And right now, I'm sure Arctan's just screaming to just run forward. The Ansap out of position right now. I was surprised they didn't go down, but as we see, it's already down to 19, which is very huge opener.
If you're Griffink, you need to grab this. Because Keylime's already shown that they're willing to dive it, and there's a chance someone can get here. They're going to play reset, and they're going to be successful at getting the reset. But I'll tell you what, I was a little worried there, Mewtwo. for Griffink.
Yeah, I would have just grabbed it, took it around left. You know, because no one from PSU was there. I think they were just all trying to play on that far right side. We see the cooler coming out from the end zap, and hopefully, you know, something can get started. And Titanium with that nice pick onto the, you know, Andrew right there. And all four members of Griffink are trying to push this Rainmaker. We see the Kraken coming in, which is going to facilitate this aggression. We see a Trizuka coming in, and I'm surprised. I am very surprised. It's taking 3 specials, and Griffink hasn't even put a point on this board, Kraken. Not even a single point.
They haven't touched the Rainmaker yet. They've not even... Not only have they not put a single point on, they haven't even had a single grab on the Rainmaker yet, Mew. Because every single time it's only been PSU, they let it reset to get back to mid. Every single...
Oh my god.
Every time it's gone back to mid, it's been reset. That's a 3rd reset. And
I did not... Yeah, I don't think Griffink's gonna grab this until like the last 30 seconds. You know, PSU's offense has just been overwhelming. Griffink's defense has kind of been stagnating. One goes down on the side of Griffink. Make that 2, make that 3. PSU might just grab this goddamn Rainmaker again.
They did.
And they are. The Kraken is stuck. The Kraken is marked. The Kraken's stuck. We see the Wellstring pushing up. What is going on? We see Space Seals on that defense trying to play forward.
Another
the ends
one
up goes down. 2 goes down. Space Seals is just being forced back. We see one out of position, one on the flank, trying to get the Rainmaker. Wait, I'm sorry, what?
The bow holding forward. Okay, Griffink will grab it, I think. Maybe. Who knows?
They might just let it reset. They might just let it reset again, Kraken.
They all dropped! They all dropped, Mewtwo! Oh my gosh, it might reset.
Wow, it is going to reset. It's resetting.
Oh, it's going to be less in the last 10 seconds if they even touch the Rainmaker at this point. You look at Arcane, they got their slider ready.
Dude.
They did touch it. They did touch it with 5 seconds left. They got a single point.
Wow.
Wow.
Are you kidding? Wow.
We saw Griffink absolutely dominate last game, Mewtwo, and then we just saw PSU absolutely dominate that game, and we're going to game 7, Mewtwo, and that, you know, I talked about the mental of Griffink going into game 7 with the beforehand. Now add on top of that the potential mental issue of we just got absolutely decimated in that game. I mean, to fairness of Griffink, they did it the game before. PSU did it this game, but when you're on to game 7, you want to have as much mental edge as you can, or at least at minimum, not mental drain, and that is not helpful if you're Griffink. But Griffink, they scored 3 points first, I want to point out, Mewtwo. They've been able to win games earlier. So, woo, game 7 here, Mewtwo. Game 7. Match point.
I don't know what to say about that game. That did not look like the Griffink we saw in the previous 5 games. I'll tell you that much. I don't know what made them... it just felt like they were always just being pushed back.
Yeah.
It felt like every time they...
rush them.
Every time they went in, PSU... Every time they took a step, PSU pushed them back like 10 feet. And Clamlet Tsumami, I think this might be another game that, like, I think this is an map that can really steamroll in PSU's favor if they just get something going.
Yeah.
Because PSU loves the close range fight. They love, you know, getting up in your face, sucking your toes, giving you a little kiss on the forehead, stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm worried. I'm honestly worried for Griffink right now, because what is the plan? How are you going to adjust to this?
Yeah, I mean that's tough. I mean, Griffink has shown really well thus far, and every game but the last 2 have been back and forth, and then the last 2 have been very bullying one side or the other, right? PSU in the TC game absolutely destroyed. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Griffink absolutely destroyed in that last game. No ifs, ands, or about it. And like, this one I think is probably, of all of 7 maps, the most favorable to PSU. I was surprised how one-sided that last game was. I thought PSU had an edge. I think we both kind of agreed on that. But, like, it was not, like, that lopsided in our eyes. And unless PSU decides to throw weaponry rise, because, you know, Max likes to pull shenanigans similar to me. But no, they play it smart and stick with the Vunder, which is what's working right now, Mewtwo.
I'd like to point out we do see that Nautilus coming in with that splashdown, and you know right now we see Andrew once again on top mid. Just he's so unafraid, like they're so unafraid to just move forward. They do find one, unfortunately they do go down to the blaster. The blaster might take top mid in order to fight the Nautilus. We see the Booyah Bomb from Space Seals coming out. Custom range blaster do getting marked. Pan sitting on that spiral right now is providing so much pressure, throwing the cooler towards their teammates. Andrew from the left, trying to just create an opening. Arctan from the left as well. I think they are going to use that reslider, and Arctan is going to find 0 people. I think throughout the course of the set, the members of Griffink are not falling for it as much, but you know there are some cases where they just go 2 or 3 down because of Arctan's well-timed reef sliders. But right now, mid control is solidly in Griffink's favor.
Yeah, it is solid in favor. I think they've kind of realized how they need to play this, because they played that opening very well. They went, okay, Andrew's gonna rush, look at that, they took it out once, and it's like, okay, now let's focus on the Brella, make the Brella make a bad play. They were able to make him reslide and punish it, but this time, Max is more disciplined, right? Stay on that right side, not resliding, not forcing a play. Just yet, but I think they are gonna gear up to get this with Keylime splashdowning first. Are they gonna slider top mid? No, they're just gonna rush them. Interesting. There's the slider.
I think that was a very safe way, because I don't think they had a clear line onto anybody. But as we see, wow, Titanium finding some great directs right now, and I think they might just rush the Wellstring, because right now there's not much, but they do go down to Arctan. Those startup frames of the Kraken proving very useful for Arctan, very detrimental for Titanium. But now we see Arctan already halfway to that slider, that signature slider that we keep seeing throughout these games. And right now, Griffink is on the defense. We see Space Seals coming in with that Booyah Bomb, but they were not able to find one. If they were able to find one, I think this would be a really good time for Griffink to move in. But right now, they need to be afraid of Arctan. They need to be afraid of the eventual crab coming in from Andrew if they just, you know, that is saying if they just don't immediately run in. But right now, mid control has once again swung back into the favor of PSU.
Yeah, we do see that dive. The crack is gonna like, oh, they gotta get it with the rolls. They get the pick. They scare people off, but look, they can't follow. They can't follow it up with anything. Nobody follows up with the Kraken, so the Kraken just automatically goes down right away. They still have 2 balls on the side of PSU. 3 minutes into this game, nobody scored yet. And I'll tell you what, you don't want to be in a situation where, if you're either side, to not have a ball and the other team to have the funny special, because we have Kraken that exists, which you can jump to after it expires, and you have Slider, which can push in and jump to, and I think that's what's going to happen here. They get 1 pick. They're going to try to grab their own ball, but no jumps from Deeded. But Deeded is going to rush in and score! And just like that, PSU has put 55 on the board, Mewtwo. But it is just Keylime remaining, and Keylime just going to keep some pressure up, not going to dive too far back. And Andrew is already back. Wow.
Yeah, this time Griffink has 2 balls, you know, the same amount that we have. And right now, you know, Space Sails with that Booyah Bomb, and finally finding one with that Booyah Bomb, which will now prove very useful. 2 are down from the side of PSU. I think the push is inevitable for this for Griffink right now. They do see the jump. They are going to capitalize on the jump. Keylime, what a very unsafe jump. But right now, PSU is taking some defensive positions, but right now, Space Seals, how do they have a Booyah Bomb again? Man, this is insane!
Yeah, it's all the time. Bam, 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 Booyah Bombs. But they didn't get anything out of it, though. Titanium's able to follow up. Then points are on the board for Griffink, but not enough to take the lead, and the last one jumps out. Now, there's going to be 3 balls on the side of PSU, because I also want to point out they will have the The one dropping as the pity, and with 30 seconds remaining, PSU can attempt to score here, but I'll tell you what, unless you get 2 or 3 down, don't force it. Do not force a push with Slider unless it's to stop overtime, right? They have 4 balls, but, you know, that's not enough. Unless you get all 4 in, you do not get the KO here.
Yeah, 4 balls called out a deformity right now. And right now we see you know, Griffink playing some great defense right now. Splashdown coming in. Right now PSU might only have 2 balls in play, you know, the normal amount. We see Keelan do go down. 2 balls still in play. 3rd one sitting right now. Arctam ready. They have the jump. Do they get the frame perfect bomb? They don't. No. It's over. Oh my god. PSU wins. PSU wins this set in a nail biter. Game 7. Congratulations to PSU Fish for winning. You know, just it was just such a good one.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad we streamed this one because this stream came together last minute. This was an amazing set. That was awesome. I mean, that was a banger set that we managed to watch. That might have been my favorite set thus far this season that I have watched from PSU. It just, or not for not just PSU, from CCA. And I've seen some really good sets this season. I think this one is in the top percentile of sets that we've had. And just amazing. Like, the comeback was real. And I think both teams had a real good shot at winning that. I mean, just a few small changes in different games. I'll tell you what, Griffink had a chance to make it a 4-0 because they barely lost Game 3 and Game 4 in that set. Mewtwo. I mean, this could have been a 4-0. We could have been done. It could have been done.
Yeah, I mean... But, you know, PSU just really clawing it back, really back and forth. I thought after, you know, Game 1, I was like, okay, you know, it was close. Both teams could really brush up on defense and offense, and I think we really saw that throughout the entire set. You know, both of these teams just kind of learning how to go about how about all of this. But
we'll have some scores here. We'll kind of look at some of the too far. We kind of see some of the things. We can see Space Seals dropping almost a 20k in Game 1 there. Amazing job by them, Mewtwo, in that first one. You can see Andrew. We talked about how much they're not afraid to push in, and I'll tell you what, those KADs definitely shows that. But a lot of teams were able to follow up on it in later games. They weren't so much in the earlier games. And I think that's one of the bigger things that ended up helping later, is we saw a lot more Max being there with Andrew a little bit better than we saw in the earlier games.
Yeah, for sure. I really definitely agree. You know, moving into Rainmaker Museum, the pen finding some, you know, with that a lot of assists, and moving into the, you know, the Rainmaker game, moving on to the Clamblitz game, Arctam, you know, a lot of the PSU members were just, they were just running forward. I'm not gonna lie, looking at those KADs, you could tell they were objective first, looking good on the scoreboard later, the KA board. Game 3, you know, they yeeted only 3 deaths, really showing what a great backline can do. Andrew, like you said, they're not afraid to just hold forward.
That blaster played really well on Griffink too. I want to highlight. Yeah. They had some really nice flanks on there. I know they lost that one, but I'll tell you what, they would have gotten MVP for this game for sure. Because not only did they have top KA, their KAs were very important KAs. They had multiple picks there onto Yeeted. And that's something I think came out really nice. And then this is one I was waiting to get to. Look at Space Seals. Didn't die once in that game.
And nine Booyah Bombs? Are you kidding me?
2200 paint Mewtwo. What the?
Good God.
Holy. I mean, that is just insanity.
Yeah. I think it also shows that, like, they understood when to play forward and also when to push back. There are multiple times. I think there were like two specific moments that we called out that Spatials, held their ground, held mid, and allowed all their teammates to jump back in because PSU was very slow on the uptake to get back in. So, it was just great game awareness by Spatials in order to let all their teammates back and just contribute towards that dominant game. And as we're talking about dominant games, look at Andrew 20-8 on that Rainmaker Undertow map, the map that Griffink did not grab the Rainmaker until the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it was an insta death basically, right? The Kraken grabbing it, which I don't think was their intention, to be clear. But I mean, Andrew, that aggro was doing really, really well, and then we saw Max coming in and cleaning up a lot of things too when Andrew didn't get the pick. And I mean, we saw the bow in their spawn, like.
I feel like the Edith was feeling themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think the entire team was feeling that game really well. And if Andrew's hitting the shots like that, the KAD, I mean, it just makes sense for them to be so, like, ready. And then our last game, I mean, Griffink put up the KADs. They just couldn't get the points on the board.
Yeah. Spatials 14-3, Titanium 15-6, Japan 11-4. Putting up some great numbers. And, on PSU side, Andrew, once again, just not like, I feel like they were just always having their foot on the gas the entire time, win or loss. It was just non-stop aggression, and I feel like PSU, they don't care about how good their KADs look at the end of the day. They only just care about winning the game. And I think it really reflects in their KADs, especially both of the Clan Blitz games. But yeah,
I'll tell you what, Mew, though, that was a fantastic set, and I think that is a great place to end it. There, as both teams played really well. That was a really fun set to watch. For those that may be Griffink or friends of Griffink, I'll tell you what, they played really, really well, and It comes down to just a few small plays on both sides to have the final score of 4-3, and like they can't be in any way ashamed the way they played tonight. Griffink, I'll tell you what, you played well. Really fun set to watch you all. If you see that PSU, same thing on you guys. I know I'll talk to a few of them, so I don't have to say too much on stream here, but that was a really fun one to watch, Moo.
Yeah, what a fun one. And, as we wrap up, I know that you have a set of your own tonight. Can you tell the people what time that is? Because, it's not for me because I forgot. It's for the people.
Well, we'll be starting. I'm gonna keep playing open. We're gonna start warming up here shortly, Mewtwo. But our set starts at 9:30 versus Auntie, which is like why can't I think of the players on that team all of a sudden? You have the Brella. Let me just pull up the roster. You have JJ. Why can't I think? But the players that have been around for a while, you'll definitely recognize them. Mewtwo, while I find that, why don't you go ahead and tell the people where they can find you?
Don't find me anywhere. Instead, I'm gonna promote your channel, Kraken Mare. I'm also gonna support. Also gonna shout out CCA. I am one of the commentators on there, but they because of my raw aura, they cannot allow me on the mic for more than they just can't let me on the mic at all.
Hey, I bring you on the mic. I'm here. I'm glad to have you on the mic. This is
your second time on the mic
this season, right?
You led me on the mic more times than CCA has this season.
Hey, you know what? I'm here for you, buddy. I'm glad for you. We like having you on the mic. We have a good time with you here.
Yeah. And just good vibes all around. Kraken, I'm sure the people already found you, but if you want to advertise, something else like your blue sky, where can the people find you?
You can find me, Kraken Mare 77. All that's linked in the doobly-doo down on YouTube, Twitch, or on Twitch. It's also down there somewhere. That's the nice part of streaming to your own channels. You know where everything is. But to give you the roster of Auntie, I pulled it up. You have JJ, Cakes, Parax? I don't know how it's actually pronounced. Swisher. Yes, thank you. And Blue, BLU. blue. So you Swisher I was on a team with years ago. Funny enough, back on a team called Subpolar. So yeah, we get to face it off against them at 9:30 tonight. But we're gonna start warming up here shortly, Mewtwo. So any last word you have about the PSU set before we switch over?
No, I just think it was just some good play all around. I can't wait to see where both of these teams go. Hopefully they are able to make playoffs. I'm not very aware of what their records were beforehand, but hopefully this puts PSU one step closer towards clinching a playoff spot. And if you are Griffink, I don't think you should be discouraged. There were a lot of you guys had a lot of shining moments throughout the entire game. I just think you guys need to just need to put it together better. Yeah, a little better. But that's
Mewtwo, I have the
either
records
here
here for record. Griffink was 2. This is not updated because I know Fish have played one more set, I believe, than is shown here. Because they played Spirality the other day. So they are. I don't remember what the Spirality set was off the top of my head, but they are 0-1 excluding that set. And then Griffink was 2-1 going into this. So they're going to be 2-2. So they're not completely out of the playoffs yet because the top 2 of their group move on. And they're still, so it's going to be a tight race for that second slot. But Griffink is in no way out of it going into round 5 for them.
Yeah, but I think we do need to wrap up now. You need to warm up for your Ludi set. I wish you good luck. I will be watching the stream.
Thank you, Mewtwo.
Thank you. And have a nice night, everyone. Okay.
All right, you're off, Moo.